Now, the Taiwanese Premier has ruled out the possibility of reunification with mainland China. Cho Jung-tai said a return is not an option. His remarks came just hours after Chinese President Xi Jinping mentioned the issue in a phone call with the US president.
We must again emphasize that the Republic of China, Taiwan, is fully sovereign and independent country. For the 23 million people of our nation, return is not an option. This is very clear. Taiwan belongs to the world. It plays a vital role in regional security as well as in global technology and economic development.
Well, Taiwan's government has repeatedly rejected what it considers Beijing's attempts to weaken its sovereignty. Earlier this month, Taiwan became the center for diplomatic dispute between Beijing and Tokyo. That's after Japan's new Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi hinted that her country could intervene militarily if China attacked the self-governed island. Her remarks provoked a furious response from Beijing. It suspended seafood imports from Japan and advised its citizens not to travel there. Katrina Yu is in Tianjin, China, with more on the remarks from the Taiwanese Premier.
Taiwan's premier says the self-governed island is already a fully sovereign and independent country, and reunification with China is not an option. Now, that was in response to a phone call between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, where Xi told Trump that Taiwan's return to China was an integral part of the post-World War II order. Now, according to Chinese state media, Trump acknowledged Taiwan's importance to Beijing, but Trump didn't mention this himself. He just said that the call went very well and confirmed he would be visiting China next April. The US leader also spoke to Japan's leader, Sanae Takaichi, who described their phone call as very warm. She said that Trump said that she could call him anytime, and she also said that Trump updated her on the US relationship with China, but gave no further details. Now, so far, Donald Trump has not publicly weighed into this escalating diplomatic dispute between Tokyo and Beijing. About 3 weeks ago, Takaichi said that any Chinese attack on Taiwan could warrant Japanese military intervention, and those comments infuriated China. In response, it's imposed a travel boycott and ban on seafood imports on Japan. Now, on Monday, Japan also said it would be sending a missile unit to its island closest to Taiwan, further angering Beijing. It says that that move is dangerous, and it's accused Tokyo of stoking military tensions. So far, there seems to be no end to this diplomatic spat in sight. Beijing is demanding that Takaichi withdraw her comments on Taiwan completely, but so far, the Japanese leader has refused. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Tianjin, China.
Let's get more on this with Wen Ti-sung, a specialist on China-Taiwan relations from the Atlantic Council's Global China Hub. He joins us now live from Taipei. Thank you for your time. So let's analyze these remarks by Premier Cho. He says a return to China is not an option for Taiwan's 23 million people. How significant is that statement right now?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds interesting in English, but in Chinese original, it's actually a pretty routine statement that you hear from Taiwanese premiers and basically tier one politicians a lot. What it amounts to basically is a insistence that in their view, Taiwan is a self-governing state, and that any changes to Taiwan's political status quo, be a change in relation with China and other things, will need to go through a democratic process involving the will of the Taiwanese people. On that regard, he's trying to send a gesture that Taiwan is confident and that it will not be intimidated by Chinese pressure or coercion.
It's interesting you say this is a routine statement in Chinese, because his comments come, of course, after President Xi told Donald Trump that Taiwan's return is part of China's post-war order. So in terms of this pushback from Cho, who do you believe he's trying to target here? Is it just the Taiwanese people, or is it Beijing? Is it the US?
I think for many other external audiences who are less familiar with the issue, I think their preference is probably for this topic to be handled somewhat differently. So I imagine the primary audience here is both Taiwanese domestic audience as well as to Beijing. Domestically, it shows that Taiwan's government is committed to Taiwan's continued self-defense and self-governance. And to Beijing, Taiwan is trying to say that whatever Beijing may want to do with Taiwan, Beijing will be approaching any such dialogue with Beijing from a position of confidence rather than throw the hands up and go through capitulation or other arrangements. So I think in that sense, cross strait, and it's a strong signal to Beijing as well.
And back home in Taiwan, how do most people feel about the Taiwan-China issue? Do most people support the Taiwanese hardline pushback, or is there mixed feelings on how to deal with Beijing?
So obviously we need to wait until opinion poll numbers come out with a particular scientific analysis of this particular issue. But I think in general, though, if you look at the same opinion poll that Taiwan's various university institutions have been doing over the last 30 years or so, one thing is clearly emerging, and that thing is that there is very little support inside Taiwan for unification with China. Usually numbers for the support unification with China hover somewhere in the teens, maybe 10, 50%. And in terms of people who actually feel that they're Chinese on an emotional level, we're talking about single digits here. So I think appetite from Taiwanese people towards a close arrangement with China is not very strong at the moment, to say the very least.
And when it comes to the rising military pressure that we've been seeing from China, do statements like Cho's raise tensions, or do they actually help clarify Taiwan's position and deter Beijing, do you think?
Yeah, I think Taiwan is trying to find a balance here. We know that a few weeks ago, Japan's Prime Minister Takaichi mentioned that a Taiwan Strait contingency will also be a Japan contingency. So this broader background is that one of Taiwan's good friends, Japan, is showing stronger support for Taiwan. So Taiwan's government is not in the position to really soften down itself too much either. And that's why you see Taiwan's Premier Cho talking out Taiwan's commitment to its own self-defense and self-governance. But it didn't really say exactly what else Taiwan may want to do, precisely because Taiwan doesn't want to create any more potential pressure point and make life difficult for its friends, be it Japan, US, and other states.
And just going back to that phone call between Xi and Trump, why do you think that Xi mentioned Taiwan in his conversation with Trump? What does it signal about Beijing's broader goals geopolitically?
Yeah, so Beijing, I think it's playing a two-level chess here when it comes to Taiwan issue and Japan specifically. China, we know, has been coming off a more stronger position vis-a-vis Japan, for sure. What it does is that it plays well domestically in terms of nationalist Chinese audience. It's good for building up regime support legitimacy at a time when China's economy seems to be not having the best time. Internationally, also, I think China, by posturing a more harder position on Japan, what China is trying to do is to deter other Japanese leaders and politicians from touching the Taiwan issue at all. So that's why I think you are seeing all this tension between China and Japan. And then you are seeing China also last night trying to enlist American president support in perhaps providing some kind of third-party mediation that allows China and Japan to find off-ramp from this tension. Meanwhile, both sides get to hold on to their existing positions.
Fascinating to get your insight into this. Wen Ti-sung, specialist on China-Taiwan relations. Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.